Sorry. Now we're recording, Chris. My bad.
Are you ready for this? Banana. Coming at you right here, the Transformational Podcast. You got the pastor from Paradise.
Oh, my mercy.
And the Marine from Maryland. Burr, 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 burr. Welcome.
Chris,
joining us. Yeah.
What are you doing? How much caffeine are you drinking?
Enough, man. I'm telling you, I'm at that age now, or that time of life where my kids go to bed really late. And so that it forced me to bed pretty late. And I still wake up in the morning about the same time. Mm-hmm. So lots of caffeine. Been working on a bunch of stuff today, but it's a good day. Yeah. So what's going on in your world, man?
Well, first of all, forgot to hit record. And so we'll just talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we already had now we got to pretend like you haven't told me this before. But
yeah, we have to have a solid, 3 or 4 minute conversation again, not on record. Hey, no, this week was good. It was warm, and we had the Canadian wildfires, in our area this week. Reduced visibility down to 1 mile. The sun, I didn't tell this part. The sun, when it was rising yesterday morning, looked like Apocalypse Now. Like it was just kind of blood red, kind of in the sky as it was coming up. Yeah, it was crazy. And one of the things was, we had a bunch of, I had to do this thing where I do PT, physical, training with the program manager, PT with the PM. And we do it at a park not too far from here. And it's about 30 minutes. It's really warm. So we were all sweating really hard. But it's mainly military. And someone at work was like, what are you doing? PTing out in all of the smoke. And I was like, oh, trust me, we live in that condition. Like that's where we are.
We just feel like we're redeployed.
Yeah, I know. Actually, we were telling stories. That's actually what started happening. So we're working out and we're like telling stories. So like, oh yeah, this one time. So it's kind of funny. It was fun to get together and work out. Cool. Definitely glad it's kind of moved out a little bit today.
Yeah.
I got out in the yard. I tried to get out a little bit early, although it wasn't that early, Chris, but it was just so hot. I'm like riding around on my lawnmower at this point because I got to ride lawnmower. I got a big yard. And the shoes I'm wearing.
Ride my lawnmower. I like to.
The shoes I'm wearing are totally soaking wet, like I stepped into a lake or something.
But riding a lawnmower, bro.
Well, I do a little bit of push mowing first. Yeah, come on now. But
I sweat because we're in the time of the summer that is my least favorite days of the entire year. When you start hitting triple digits, dude, when the wind blows, it feels like you're an exhaust pipe. Now, nothing is as bad as when it was like 110, 113 in Odessa, and everybody was like, it's dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Who cares?
No.
It's a burn your skin heat is what it feels like.
Dry heat.
Yeah, I'm reminded of how much I enjoy winter. And I know that some people just can't stand that I would say that, but I'm just telling you, I love winter.
That's one of the things I loved about Canada.
Yeah, you can put on a heavier jacket. You can put on thermals. You can put on stuff. You can turn on a fire or turn on one. Well, if it's electric,
now we do.
Or a gas. We build a fire here. We don't have we can't just turn it on. But that being said, like you can do those things. There's only so many clothes that are acceptable to take off, bro. And even then it still doesn't keep you from sweating like crazy.
I know.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of air conditioner. I'm sure you could tell that when y'all stayed at our house.
Well, it's funny. You talk about how hot it is and walking outside. We were dropping Josh off at the drum camp today. It's his fourth
nice
year. Pretty cool drum camp. They bring in artists from around the country.
You can't beat that.
Hey, everybody, that's like the third time.
Stop. You're not supposed to say that. It's just like we couldn't leave it off, but just because you forgot to hit record.
Just because I forgot to hit record. But anyway, he we're setting up all his drum set and the rest, and we're having to walk it from the car inside. And has he
done this camp before?
He's been doing it 4 years.
So he's getting in a rhythm of it.
You're so ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
you were so proud of that. I think you really wanted to set that up. I see what you did there.
Set it up.
I see what you did there. All right. Yeah. No, it's a cool camp. They bring artists in from all over the place, professionals, and there's like 70 kids this year. They work on stuff all day long. It's really neat.
Do they kind of go slow through their training because they don't want to rush it?
They just want to. They just want to make sure that they're in a rhythm. Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. They want to be on beat. Yeah, Chris, lots of drum.
Listen, when it comes to jokes like that, I don't miss a beat. Go ahead.
That was terrible. Okay. Hey, Chris, you know what we should do? We should stop doing this because
we need to talk about what we're here to talk about, Robert.
Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. I don't know why.
Jokes, so.
Yes, I know. You know what we should do? We should talk about it the way we use our words, Chris. How about that? How about that? Let's talk about how we use our words.
That's what I've been looking at just the last day or so in Proverbs 18. And actually, if you read Proverbs, it's actually throughout Proverbs here and there, bits and pieces of wisdom about, the way we speak. But this morning I was reading in Proverbs 18 and I just want to highlight a few of them real quick and then we can maybe zero in on them.
Let's do it.
But as you go through, Proverbs is a collection of writings of wisdom. King Solomon did quite a few of them, or a lot of it's his wisdom. Some of it is, what is his name? It starts with an A. Forgot his name suddenly. I was going to say it a second ago. Now I forgot. I'll remember it in a second. But
Asaph.
Asaph, thank you. Wisdom of Asaph.
That was a trick question.
And then there's
a trick question. Sorry.
And then there's some they don't know who to attribute them to specifically. They have some ideas. But bottom line is, this is just wisdom that God put together. And the point is that like when it comes to wisdom, it's not necessarily exactly always commands. As much as it is, hey, these are guidelines that if you live by these guidelines, it's going to make you better. It's going to make you better at life. It's like wisdom for life. It's principles of truth that, man, just apply them and it would change some things. But this is what he's, as I walked through and read through Proverbs 18 this morning, it starts with, or actually I'll back it up to 17 real quick because I just think it's interesting that 17 talks about it and then you just jump into 18. 17 verse 27 says, a wise person uses few words. A person with understanding is even tempered. And then even fools are thought wise when they keep silent, when with their mouth shut, they seem intelligent. Like that's how he ends 17 or that's how 17 ends.
Can we real quick on that one? That one's like been for the longest time. That's been my number one verse. Especially when I'm in like a new job or a new role in my job.
Yeah.
Like when I went to 2nd Tank Battalion, one of my first, probably funniest experiences is, and that verse, like literally that verse was in my brain, Chris. You know, fools are thought wise, they keep their mouth shut. So I'm standing around a bunch of tankers and they're talking about a field exercise that we're about to go do with the tank battalion. I have never been to the field with a tank battalion and they're talking about field trains and combat trains. They're talking about all this stuff. I am a C-130 guy. I'm a tanker, as in I give gas, not a tanker, boom, boom. And so they're talking about all this stuff, and I'm mentally like, I'm smiling, I'm lying. I'm like, oh, yep, field trains, definitely need to get those going.
That's important.
Combat trains, very important, keeps things moving.
Yeah.
And but in my brain, only thing I can see is an actual like legit train. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
so I immediately left that thing.
Put the tracks down for this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't say anything. I didn't say like I didn't know. I didn't ask any questions. I went downstairs. I asked nobody ever. And I went on the internet and I was like, United States Marine Corps combat train. In detail, like, hey, that's your logistics with ammo and food and fuel to the front lines for the folks that are in combat. All right. Okay. Got it. All right. United States Marine Corps field train. And it's like, that's the logistics element that takes food and bullets and beans and Band-Aids and bandages and everything else that you can imagine to the supporting unit that's supporting the combat train.
That's
and I was
funny.
Like, oh.
Talk about on-the-job training there, Robert.
Well, you know what's funny is, yeah, no kidding. You know what's funny, Chris? Seriously?
What?
No one ever, everybody thought like, oh, like how did, like that, the pilot knows all of this stuff. No, the pilot didn't know any of this stuff. I just kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you got John Mayer, say what you need to say. The reality is that I think we need to say way more than we actually need to say. That if we would keep our mouth shut, because he also has a song in a previous album that goes, "My stupid mouth has got me in trouble. I said too much again." All right, and it goes on in detail, dude. That's the story of my life. I said something because I thought, now this is going to surprise you, because I thought it would be funny, right? And I'm just trying to make people laugh, right? And the reality is that it put me in a bad place. And you know, I see a generation sometimes where they make these ginormous statements of, and you're like, you don't have enough life experience to know. Just like be quiet.
You don't have to say that.
Just, you know, and so I think about that is that 17 just says, man, wise people use their words well, is what I wrote down in my journal. Wise people use their words well and don't overspeak. They keep quiet because those who are kept quiet are thought to be wise. And then I just wrote, think and listen more than you speak. Which is important, because then he jumps into 18 verse 2 says, fools have no interest in understanding. They only want to air out their own opinions. And I think that's interesting. It's something that is echoed other places in scripture of be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry, right? We tend to be quick to speak and slow to listen. I think what's
James 1:19 for those who aren't tracking. He just quoted James 1:19.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is there's a book I read, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. Okay. One of those is seek to understand first, then be understood. Yeah. And really what's crazy is Stephen's hitting on something that is a biblical principle, is that wise people, right? Wise people seek to understand, then to be understood. Foolish people only care about being understood. They're not seeking to understand. Which is interesting, is we're going to read more in a second that add to that or build that, but then
contribute to that logic.
Yeah. Then verse 4 says, wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. That wise people, man, when they speak, it just bubbles up, and there's no lack of wisdom that comes from them. However, a bubbling brook, it's one of those things of
it's refreshing.
Like, it's refreshing.
Bubbling brook is refreshing.
Right. It's not stagnant water. It's
not shallows. You know, I like the imagery here that he puts in it is that deep waters, the difference between deep waters and shallow waters. It's the difference between like the kiddie pool where littles, you know, run around and it's, you know, maybe it's ankle height, knee height, that kind of stuff. But then like, as you grow older, you can move further into the deep end. It's almost this visual, even if you move beyond the swimming pool, this visual of the, where like the ancient waters are. I mean, it gives this imagery that wise words are like an ancient source of information. Whereas like your shallows are they're easy to get to. They're not very far. Anybody can access them. There's nobody that can't touch them. But your wise words are where the deep waters are. It's where the folks that dwell in wisdom, and you do want them to be refreshing. Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, healthy things grow next to bubbling brooks, right?
Right.
Unhealthy things grow next to stagnant ponds, right? And so it's like one of those things of, and there's some healthy things that grow next to a pond, but it just, if it's stagnant,
I got your example.
The point is this, is like, I think that some people think, well, I've got all these wise things to say. Well, are there healthy things growing around you? Like, is it helping things grow? Is it helping? Is it to the benefit of others? Is it truly refreshing people? Or are all the things you're saying critical and negative and harmful and hurtful and degrading and stir up strife? Because in fact, let's go to verse 6. It says, fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They're asking for a beating. Like
I love that they're asking for a beating.
Yeah, the mouth of
that's why I beat you up as a kid. I just want you to know
that's true. That's true. You didn't beat me up, but that's why we got in fights. Is because like that was I was an agitator with my words. I was an instigator. Now we had some really good rumbles.
It was good. Yeah, we did. It was good. But made us stronger. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. What doesn't kill you does make you stronger. Is what I hear.
But no, you're right. The foolish words end up basically put you out in an open situation where you draw attention to yourself, and sometimes that's not wanted attention.
It's not good attention. Not all attention is good attention.
That's right.
Verse 7: the mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. Like if they find a way to get themselves in trouble.
Can I tell you another story on that one?
Yeah, go for it.
This is really funny. So I'm talking to this Marine, junior Marine years ago, probably 15 years ago. And he was trying to tell me why the sheriff that had some complaints towards him wasn't right in his complaints. And I'm using air quotes when I say complaints, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm talking to the Marine and he's trying to tell me his part of the story, and he's using a lot of words and he's being very descriptive. And so I'm beginning to realize that he's not being fully truthful or whatever. And so I said, hey, real quick, just so that I can understand your story, right before y'all went there, y'all did a lot of this stuff right there, right? Which, by the way, wasn't a part of his story, but I kind of imagined it in. And he goes, oh, yeah, we were having and he stops and he looks at me. He's like, oh, man, like I said too much. And I was like, okay. I was like, there you go. Now we're telling the truth. All right, here we go. So, no, it is funny that the mouths of the fools that just they trap themselves. They can't even help it.
Yeah. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, keep doing
it. Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Robert, this could be said of hitting forward on or repost on social media without knowing the facts, putting something out there without knowing the facts. The reality is, man, I was even listening to something today, that just a historian that was uncovering just some places where things have been distorted, that basically more or less secondary sources have said the same thing long enough that everybody believes that that's the truth. Whereas as you go and actually look at primary sources are sources that were written at the time of the event. And, and not somebody reporting on the event years later. It's
or writing on the primary sources, which that would be your secondary source.
Right. So when you go to the primary sources, then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, they've rewritten history. Like this doesn't even make sense. And what's crazy is that you've got some people and some, and I'm not going to get into any of the specifics, but these situations in culture. And dude, we've seen it over the last years. I think one of the worst things for this has been social media, where people, man, they get on there, they give their peace of mind, they say what they say, and then it comes out, the truth comes out, and now all of a sudden, now they have to either double down and go with it anyway, or
delete their post.
Or delete their
but
post.
It's too late.
But it's too late, yeah. So it says it's both shameful and foolish.
Practical advice on that one is don't repost something that has made you angry. Here's why. It's something that's made you angry or like ignited something in your soul. Like that's the one thing that I try to acknowledge. A lot of things that are being posted and that kind of stuff, they're literally designed to kind of get under your skin. And so if I feel like that and I feel like I need a comment or repost or whatever, I'd have a rule. I have my personal rule. I don't. And then the second thing I immediately question it. I question it. Doesn't matter if it makes me, if it's what I think or what I think, in favor of, or what I think is in favor against. It doesn't matter which one. Yeah. I question it, and then I go look it up, and I'm like, okay, I mean, is this real or is it not real?
Yeah.
And start really trying to find and dig, so to say.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like that level of instantaneous, and sometimes it probably feels gratification. That's going to lead to ruin.
Yeah. What's interesting is I think for me, one of the things I did is I just got off social media.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. You did.
I've given you my login. I've given my team at the church my login, and like, hey, use it, whatever. Just so that, that platform can be used. But at the end of the day, man, like what was bad is that it was like causing me to think differently of people that I didn't want to think differently of, because here's the deal. I didn't need to hear those things. I didn't need to see those things.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds terrible, but at the same time, I was like, wait a minute. Like, let's go back to the 90s, the simple 90s where we didn't have social media.
Just a sticky note.
Yeah. To screw up relationships. Like, we don't have to do this. Like, it's one of those things. So,
should always eat the note.
Then here's the good news. Verse 20, wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. Like
I like that.
It's something that people can enjoy. And then verse 21, the tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences.
Right?
You can kill things and you can bring things to life with your words. Your words matter. When I was at a church, one of my executive pastors, he would always say, hey, weigh your words because words matter. What comes out of your mouth matters. But in the spiritual realm, it's not just words. What you have to say often will create agreements with the enemy, give enemy access that the enemy doesn't need. Like if you think about it, the power of words is a big deal. God spoke life into existence. He spoke and created the world. He spoke. Yeah. He said, and it's at the name of Jesus one day, the spoken, the declaration of Jesus, right? Every knee will bow, every tongue confess. Speaking is a big deal, and I think we sometimes miss the importance of it. But he just talks about, man, those who love to talk will reap the consequences. And
how do you feel about self-talk, Chris? Like, so you talked about words about others. Give me some thoughts on words about yourself.
I think they matter, because if you're saying things that don't align with what God says about you, you're speaking a lie and you're embracing what the enemy has to say. So what you have to say, actually, you should ask yourself before you speak to you a certain way, is this something God would ever say to me? And if it's not, you really shouldn't say it to yourself. What's crazy, Robert, is there's science today that shows the power of your self-talk words. Now, I get the whole, you're smart, I forgot the whole little saying.
What is it? Smart, you're good looking, and doggone it, people love you.
Like it's one of those deals of, I think, you take something that's true and you take it to an extreme and it's kind of ridiculous. But I think that if you understand, hey, I'm only going to speak things to myself that God has said to me or that God says about me, then that's you're training your body, your brain, what the chemicals that your brain releases when you start speaking that kind of truth into your life.
I agree.
Like there's science that shows the power of your words. Craig Rochelle's book, Winning the War in Your Mind, he talks a little bit about this and the science behind it. So it absolutely matters.
I think one of the ways to determine the difference, Chris, like, is this God or is it not? Because I think sometimes the words that we're listening to, we're trying to go, well, you said, don't listen to or repeat the words that God wouldn't say about me. And so then we turn that a little bit into, well, God says, don't do this. And so that's who I am. Right. And so it says, don't be lazy. And so we turn that into, okay, so if I was lazy, then I am lazy. And what God's saying is, you're not lazy. That's not who you are. So the difference between the two, and I tell people this all the time, is I'd say this to myself, by the way. I'm going to be the first to tell you. One of the things, the self-talk that I had for the longest time, that even now I still try to amend, is I was like, oh, you idiot. That's what I used as, oh, dang it, you idiot. And now there is funny versions of that, and I'm not taking away from that, because I think about Uncle Si, right? Oh, you idiot, but he doesn't believe that about himself. That's the thing. And so I used to believe that about myself. And so one of the things, instead of being like idiot, I'd be like, oh man, I was like, that's not who you are. You're better than that. You're better than that. Right.
Yeah. My word is, come on, do better.
Yeah. Right. Right. Do better. Come on, man, do better. My point being is that when Chris is talking about that, the tongue brings life or death, when you are allowing yourself to repeat what the enemy has said about you, when you're allowing yourself to repeat what the enemy has said about you, then you're starting to buy into the lie that he's trying to keep you down. He's trying to make you less effective. He is trying to diminish your impact on the world. He's trying to diminish your sphere of influence. And the way he does that is to get you to believe a lie about yourself. And so that's one of the things I just want to anchor on, that bring life or death, because I think that's a big deal.
So I want to jump over to James chapter 3 real quick, because this is something that James talks a lot about, and this with me, with the wildfires that you talked about, this is one of the things that jumped to my mind, because James talks about controlling the tongue, and James was Jesus. This is just a little history for those who may not know. He was Jesus' brother, didn't believe in Jesus until after Jesus raised from the dead, which makes sense, Robert. Yeah. I mean, it would take a lot for me to believe my brother was the savior of the world until I saw him raised from the dead. That would probably work. I mean, you're a good guy,
fair.
But man, I'm
good, but I ain't that good.
Yeah. But James chapter 3 says, "Dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should be teachers." I'm going to actually jump down verse 2. It says,
James 3 right now?
Yeah, James 3, verse 2.
I'm there.
"Indeed, we all make many mistakes, for if we can control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way." It says, "We can make a large horse go wherever we want by means of a small bit in its mouth. And a small rudder makes a huge ship turn wherever the pilot chooses to go, even though the winds are strong. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire." He says, "Among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself." It says people can tame all kinds of animals. I'm going to stop there. But verse 8, no one can tame the tongue. It is restless and evil and full of deadly poison. Sometimes it praises our Lord and Father, and sometimes it curses those who've been made in the image of God.
Yeah.
And so blessing and cursing come pouring out of the same mouth. Surely, my brothers and sisters, this is not right.
Yeah. So do better.
Here, check this out. Does a spring of water bubble out with both fresh water and bitter water?
Right.
Remember the fresh bubbling spring we talked about a minute ago? He comes
Deep
back
waters.
and goes, "Hey, you want to know if your words are wise or not? Like, is it blessing people or cursing people? Is it building people up or tearing people down?" He says, "Does a fig tree produce olives or a grapevine produce figs? No, you can't draw fresh water from a salty spring." He's saying it's going to be one or the other. So I guess when we look at it, here's the big idea is like our words matter. They matter to God and they matter to the direction. I mean, here he's making the argument of, hey, your words will affect your entire life. It'll impact every other area of your life. It steers your life. It sets your whole life on fire if it's not used right. Fire is a good thing, Robert, in the right context. Yeah. But outside of the right context, when used wrongly, it's
or when uncontained.
Uncontained is incredibly damaging. And so, I think as a kid, sticks and stones hurt my bones or break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's like not true. The reality is that your words don't just hurt those that you speak to; they can also hurt you. And not only that, like they also the flip of that is your words can actually help others and build others up.
That's
they can help you.
That's right.
And so the reality is like, how are you using your words? Wise people weigh their words. They're going to think through them. They're going to weigh them. They're going to ask, I don't need to just say what I think I need to say. Like, take a step back and go, all right, is it good? Is it encouraging? Does it build others up? Is it of good report? Like, is it something that I believe that God would say to this person or about this person? And if not, then I just need to be quiet. Because if I'm quiet, guess what? People will think I'm wise, even if I'm a fool. So it's better to just remain quiet than to open my mouth and remove any doubt.
Yeah. No, people don't need you beating them down. I try to practice, and I'm not perfect at this. And I'm not perfect at it partly because I'm just busy in a day, but I try to practice. I call it the Barnabas principle. Barnabas was known for being an encourager.
Yeah.
And so I try to practice this principle where I walk through the office and when I see folks, I try to like encourage them for whatever they did. So people oftentimes will provide something to the boss. The boss is me, and they never hear, because it goes through a couple people before it gets to me. They never hear like, was that good? Was it bad? Did you need it? Did you not need it? And that's just the way it goes. And they never get to hear back. And so what I'm trying to do, and Chris, I'm not always good, but I've been trying to go, okay, let me go encourage them. Like, hey, that was spot on. That was exactly what I needed. I appreciate the way you you did this, appreciate the way you did that. And sometimes it's just simply going through the office and being like, man, I was like, so glad you're here today. Like I'm stoked that you're here in the office. And they're like, ha ha ha. And like, and then I laugh and I'm like, I don't know where I'd be without you. And then I just walk away.
Yeah.
And of course but the thing is those words, it lifts the office. And if you don't have to be in a position of leadership to use your words to lift and raise your environment. You can be literally anybody in the office that raises and lifts the environment. And frankly, people will start wondering, not just like, what's up with you? They want to know, like, okay, who do you know? Like what makes you different? Why are you such a joy to be around? And I think, you're talking about flame and fire and that kind of thing is when flame and an uncontained flame, right? I was sort of joking about the fact we were doing PT yesterday with a PM and it was fog. It was smoky. Couldn't see a mile. Sometimes your words can not just impact the set of flame around the folks that you are there. It has second, third, and fourth order consequences where people start, they see it from a distance and they kind of smell it from a distance. And they're like, I don't want to be anywhere near that. Right. And so I think it's just crucial. I think it's critical to be thoughtful in the way we use our words. That's what I say. Be thoughtful in the way you use your words.
I love it.
Hey, if you're going to wrap us up, bring us on home. It's kind of a short-ish one, but it is about words. And I think we've talked a little bit about all the ways that words get us in trouble and how we need to be not just thoughtful in the way we use our words, maybe a little bit quicker to listen and slower to speak. We've talked also about how our words can refresh others and how God calls us to refresh others. And so not just refresh others, but refresh ourselves. So be careful in how you talk about yourself. I try to not, be like, you idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you? Bring us home.
Here's what I'd say, man. Words matter. So before you say it, weigh it.
There you go. Amen.